Hi guys, welcome or welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. Today's story is a rough one, but an extremely important one. I just wanted to give a few trigger warnings before we start it. This story focuses heavily on the topic of domestic violence, so if that's something that may be too much for you to handle, I would click off and come back at a later time. Megan Montgomery was born on February 4th, 1988, to parents Suzanne Montgomery Clark and Johnny Montgomery. She had one sibling, an older sister named Meredith. She also had a stepbrother named Raymond, a stepfather named Rod, and a stepmother named Liz. Megan graduated from John Carroll Catholic High School, where she was a cheerleader. She then went on to earn a master's degree in communications management from the University of Alabama in 2013. She was also a writer for the University of Alabama School of Nursing and even won an award for a piece she wrote about elephants in captivity. She was extremely passionate about animals and would volunteer her time tirelessly to the Greater Birmingham Humane Society's professional board, where she would raise funds to help animals get adopted into loving homes, along with having 2 rescue cats of her own. Megan was also the daughter of Johnny Ironman Montgomery, who was an 8-time finisher of the World Championship Ironman Triathlon in Kona, Hawaii. Her father was also a real estate agent, and her mother was well known in the community for her nonprofit fundraising. In 2016, Megan appeared in an episode of House Hunters alongside her first husband, Chris Sykes, and her father as her realtor.
Megan, I'm 27 and I'm a program director for the University of Alabama at Birmingham.
Chris, also 27, is a former Marine. Now he too works at the University of Alabama.
So our agent is actually my dad, Johnny.
My name is Johnny Ironman Montgomery. I'm an 8-time finisher of the Ironman Triathlon.
After only a few years of marriage, Chris and Megan decided they were better off as friends and divorced, selling the home they purchased together on the show. After her divorce, Megan threw herself into her volunteer work, along with adapting a much healthier lifestyle that left her looking more beautiful than she was before and boosting her confidence exponentially. July 23rd, 2017, 29-year-old Megan meets and starts dating 43-year-old Hoover police officer Jason McIntosh, the son of a retired police chief. 6 months later, while the couple was walking along Orange Beach in Alabama, Jason proposed. Megan wrote on her Instagram that she found a message in a bottle while on a walk that said, "Marry me." Megan accepted, and the pair were married on February 2nd, 2018. These beautiful and happy moments would be very sadly short-lived. February 23rd, 2019, just days after their first wedding anniversary, Megan filed for a restraining order after getting shot at the couple's home during an argument they were having. It was Jason, in fact, that called 911 and told police that they were having an argument. Megan grabbed his service weapon, trying to protect herself. They struggled over it, and the gun went off, hitting her in the right arm. During the investigation, neighbors told police that they thought Jason was abusive towards Megan, and although they never actually saw anything, they would hear them screaming and fighting all the time. During an interview with investigators, Megan took the blame, saying that she grabbed the gun and she was the reason it went off. It was her fault that she got shot. And even though she told investigators that the incident was an accident, she did go on to tell them that she was indeed afraid of him. Are you guys getting Gabby Petito vibes? Because I got major Gabby Petito vibes while researching this, and it bothered me tremendously. So let me know. Even while Megan was at the hospital, she told the staff, quote, "He shot me." Following an investigation, authorities determined that Megan was the aggressor in the dispute because she failed to press charges. May 5th, 2019, Megan calls police telling them that Jason attacked her. Hoover police respond to another domestic violence call at the couple's home. After interviewing Megan and Jason, it was determined that the verbal argument had escalated into a physical confrontation. Megan had sustained scrapes and red marks, but refused medical attention. McIntosh was taken into custody and charged with 3rd-degree domestic violence. Jason was released the following day after posting a $1,000 bail. He then resigned from the police force. Megan already had an order of protection against him. Now she files for divorce. Family and friends have said that after Megan filed for divorce, she got back to her old self. She was happy again. In September of 2019, she was able to move out and into her own apartment. Following the incident, Megan began documenting her experiences and recovery from her wounds in an effort to bring awareness to domestic violence, even writing in a Facebook post, "I would have never been shot had I just left a few months into dating when I was first strangled against a brick wall late one night in Nashville. I regret that every day. Little did I know there was much worse to come. I started writing my book in the hospital and I used it as therapy. I never envisioned it coming to fruition until now. I'm finishing my book and I'm embarking on my new calling to help other girls and other victims. Guys, I'm telling you, this girl was an amazing, beautiful soul, and this is an absolute tragedy. Meanwhile, Jason was spiraling. He began texting Alabama police officers asking for his weapon back. Although the weapon was Jason's service weapon, it was not issued to him by the Hoover Police Department. He had purchased the gun himself. He told investigators that he needed his gun back because he was getting an armed security job. Jason would bother investigators for an entire month before they ultimately agreed to return the weapon. Despite him having an open domestic violence case going on November 15th, 2019, Jason went to the Alabama Department of Public Safety and he got his gun back. 15 days later, on December 1st, 2019, Megan was out with friends at an oyster bar watching the Iron Bowl. Jason finds out that Megan's at the bar. Security footage shows him walking into the bar and going up to her. He places his hand on her neck and tells her to come outside to talk to him. Friends that were with her ask who he is, to which he responds, "She's my wife, she's going with me." And although Megan is visibly frightened, she agrees to go with him, and the two leave together at around 10:30 p.m. December 2nd, 2019. At about 4:30 a.m., a police officer was patrolling his area. He spots a woman laying face down in a pool of her own blood with 3 gunshot wounds to her head in the parking lot of the Mountain Brook Athletic Complex. Monday, December 2nd, the family of Megan report her missing. After confirmation of identification, a warrant for capital murder is issued to Jason McIntosh.
Listen to me. Don't ever play games with me, okay? Because I'll always win. Because I don't do anything.
Following the murder, Jason McIntosh turned himself in. He decided to plead guilty, knowing that with all the documentation that Megan had, to go in front of a jury, he would definitely lose and he would definitely end up with the death penalty. March 31st, 2021. As part of the plea agreement, the murder charge carries a sentence of 30 years. The judge approved the agreement and McIntosh waived his right to an appeal. Following this, McIntosh's lawyer said in a statement, "Jason has admitted his guilt publicly and has acknowledged his actions resulting in the death of Megan, and he has since day one privately. He deeply regrets what he did and the pain he has inflicted onto so many people. He has accepted his punishment for those actions. Today is the conclusion of this case. But the emotional damage to others left in the wake of this exceptionally flawed relationship will last forever. I would concur with the comments made by Megan's family in court. Domestic violence is real and it takes place in all segments of society daily. If you are aware of a friend, acquaintance, relative, or coworker, or even a complete stranger who is in an abusive relationship, whether physical or emotional, you need to get proactive and try and do what you can to break the cycle of abuse before it ends like it did in this instance. Do not just sit back and watch." Following his sentences, Megan's mother, Susan, said, "On her birthday, I won't be sitting with her in the kitchen with a cake and candles, but at her grave." Megan's sister said, "The day my sister died, a part of me died. It left a hole that can never be filled. She was brainwashed, manipulated, and abused, and now she's dead." Following the murder, an acquaintance of Megan's named Brad that was with her that evening wrote in a lengthy Facebook post apologizing to her, saying, "6 of us, including her, were at the table when the man walked up. He placed a hand on the back of her neck and one on her shoulder and told her to walk outside. We all looked at him, asked who he was, and he said, 'That's my wife. She's going with me.' Megan said yes and agreed. But the look in her eyes is one I will never forget. She was terrified, but my assumption was she has just been caught doing something behind her husband's back, not that she was scared for her life. That night is the biggest eye-opening experience I have experienced to date. You truly have no idea what someone is going through and dealing with. I didn't know her but for the short time, but in that time she taught me the biggest lesson of my life. Pay attention. It took less than 1 minute for a man nobody knew but her to convince her to walk away and never be seen again. My heart hurts for everyone involved." Following her murder, the Humane Society CEO, Allison Black Cornelius, described Megan as an incredible servant leader and tireless volunteer to the animals there. She was selfless, dedicated, and the first to arrive and the last to leave at any organization's events. Her love for our community's forgotten animals was inspiring and infectious. Megan, you were amazing every time you served, finding homes for the most difficult to place. You are a champion of the underdog and of second chances. You always look for the hopeless and try to give hope. You looked for potential and possibility. Maybe that somehow played into your senseless death. You never said no. You did what others wouldn't or couldn't, and without wanting any credit or recognition. We will miss you so profoundly. Losing you is very hard because we all thought we had you protected, but we didn't. Now we ask ourselves what we could have done better or differently. We will all learn from this, but just know that we want everyone to know how you lived and loved, not just how you died. Thank you for being in our lives and for helping our animals. You're irreplaceable. Okay, so if you guys are still here, thank you, thank you, thank you. You're so greatly appreciated. Please like and subscribe if you haven't yet. It would mean so much to me. Also, I would love it if you left me a comment with your thoughts and or some more case suggestions. But until next time.